Now it is my great pleasure to welcome as our commencement speaker Mr. Mark Peterson, the President and CEO of Greater Rochester Enterprise. Mark has an outstanding background in regional economic development, financial administration, and high-value fundraising. Mark has proven himself to be a strong advocate for the Greater Rochester region, building a reputation among his colleagues as an exceptional leader and a proactive change agent. He is strongly invested in promoting the area, attracting quality businesses, and changing lives through job creation. A natural problem solver, Mark has a true talent for connecting people with appropriate resources to generate results. Mark has been instrumental in positioning the Greater Rochester area as a highly attractive target destination for businesses by continually marketing the region. He has successfully recruited dozens of companies, creating thousands of new jobs and millions of dollars in new investment into the region. He has had articles printed in The Economist, The New York Times, and The Wall Street Journal, and he is the host of the highly rated and award-winning radio show Eyes on the Future with a large weekly audience. Mr. Peterson is a graduate of the State University College at Brockport, Kent State University, and St. John Fisher College. He has previously served as president of Bishop Kearny High School. In 2011, Mark was appointed by Governor Andrew Cuomo as a member of the Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Council. Mark is joined today by his wife, Kathy, who is sitting over here with my wife, Catherine. Mark and I have known each other for many years, and I am pleased to count Mark Peterson as a wonderful friend and a colleague. Mark, on behalf of all of the residents of the Rochester region, I thank you for all that you do for our community. And now will you please join me in welcoming to our podium Mr. Mark Peterson.
I'm so honored to be with you here today, particularly as Dr. Martin presides over his final commencement at Roberts Wesleyan College. We have been friends for more than 15 years, we counted in the room. I want to also say congratulations to your Board of Trustees, to Chairman Tabor, who is also a friend, members of the faculty who I've had the privilege to work with, parents, spouses, families, and especially you graduates. Thank you for having me, and congratulations on your achievements. I appreciate the kind introduction, but if you thought you were going to get some gem of wisdom from me, or I was going to tell you something you didn't already know, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I know I'm preaching to the choir because all of you here today are winners. But graduates, you did not get here alone. You are not the only ones who have sacrificed. You're not the only ones who have paid the price of success and achievement. Spouses, family, moms and dads, children have all helped you to get here. The faculty and other mentors in your life have all helped you to get here. People who believed in you sometimes before you believed in yourself. Make sure you thank them today, whether they're here or not. But graduates, this is your day. So all I want to do is to tell you a few stories about my life experiences, which you may be able to relate to. In the story, you might be better able to tell your story, because more than anything else, the world needs you to tell your story. I especially want to congratulate those graduates who have come back to school after being away for a little while, and who are here today with a new degree. I know what it took. I graduated from college the first time in 1983. And 10 years later, with 2 children under the age of 5 and a job which demanded 70 hours a week of my time, I went back to school full-time in one of the first executive MBA programs in the country. I can tell you I made a lot of mistakes before I did that. I didn't first check with some of the important people in my life about that life decision. I can remember telling Kathy before one Friday afternoon that I would not be home later that evening, which wasn't unusual. She said, "Really, where are you going to be?" I said, "I'm going to a dinner, which is the kickoff for my executive MBA program, and I'll be spending every Friday night, all day Saturday, and 3 nights a week going to school for the next 27 months. She nodded faithfully, as she always does. When I returned home about 10 o'clock that evening, on our rented townhouse, there was a large number of clothes on the top of the roof of the garage towards my, and the door was curiously locked without my key. I got a ladder from the garage and I pulled the clothes down off the top, and a neighbor friend of mine came over and said, "You having any problems?" I said, "Shut up, Pete." But Kathy stuck with that, made all the sacrifices. So I know you did not get here alone, and I know it was hard on you and your family. So congratulations to all of you in this room today. It was mentioned, I need to tell you a little bit about those 2 children have now turned into 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters, 25, 22, 17, and 10. But I want to tell you a story about my youngest daughter. My youngest daughter is adopted from China. We adopted her when she was 11 months old. She's 10 now. And of all my children, I could solve the question for some of you in the faculty about nurture versus nature. Because though my youngest daughter, Leanne, has none of my DNA, she is my child. This past Thanksgiving, Leanne and I were playing a word Scrabble game. And we played 4 or 5 games, and I beat her every time. I don't let my children win. They have to beat me. And I said, "Leanne, I'm getting tired. I don't want to play anymore." And she said, "Oh, no, Daddy, you don't understand. It's not over till I win." So we played several more games, and finally Leanne won a game. And then she stood up, she yawned a little bit, and she stretched, and she said, "Okay, Daddy, now I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed." That's how we must be. You see, you have the education, you have the training, you have the talent. That's great, but is that it? If that is all you ever achieve, if this is your greatest achievement, then what have you really accomplished? You get a better job, you make a little more money, that's all great. You see, my friends, this is one of the most dangerous times in your life. There are 2 danger zones for we all experience again and again throughout our lives. First, whenever there is disappointment. Research shows that the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who do not is largely about how we respond to disappointments. Winners pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and begin again. The second most dangerous time in anyone's life is where you all are right now. Having achieved a major goal, having won. You know, I'm a golf fan. I'm not really a huge Tiger Woods fan, but you have to recognize why Tiger Woods is so much better than everyone else in professional golf. Tiger Woods is not the greatest golfer just because he wins. He is the greatest because he wins against all odds. Broken leg at the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, he wins anyway. And more important, he wins back-to-back again and again. He is never finished improving. That's what makes him stand out. So now that you've achieved this milestone goal, I ask you, what's next? I have a very important question for all you graduates. And be honest with yourselves. What would you do if you couldn't fail? My friend John Stallworth wrote a book called The Serving Leader. And one of the first chapters in the book talks about running to great purpose. You see, the paradox is, to do the most good possible, you must strive for the impossible first. So you must reset your goals. You must aim higher. I remember in 2008 when the bishop closed 13 Catholic elementary schools, I was sitting with some business leaders at a board meeting for an organization that I had helped create, and everyone was lamenting. You have to understand, I was already too busy. But we started to talk about creating our own school, dreaming out loud about what it would look like. It was the 3rd week in July, and so opening a school in the fall was impossible. We had no faculty, We had no curriculum. We had no building. We had no students. We had no books. 59 days later, on September 15, 2008, we opened St. John Bosco Schools with 26 students K through 5. Today, we have a 33,000 square foot facility with our own gym. We have 145 children K through 8 being educated using a classical curriculum which has become nationally recognized. Along the way, there were many challenges, and in there will be many more. I can remember when we first started the school, our first year we opened in a chapel that had been purchased by two women, and they had wedding receptions and wedding services there on the weekends, but it was free Monday through Friday. It is every Monday we drove our vans in with all of our stuff and we opened our school. And every Friday afternoon we packed everything up in a van and we left. And we did that for a year and a half. It was impossible. People thought we were crazy, including my own lovely bride, who's here with me today. But we were determined to find a way or make a way for our children. What would you do if you couldn't fail? An 18th century writer and philosopher once wrote, "Dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move men." What would you do if you couldn't fail? It was mentioned in the first presentation, a man named John Maxwell. He wrote a book a few years ago called Failing Forward. Maybe some of you have read it. I hate the title of that book because I don't believe in failure. My screensaver at my office pops up after I haven't been on the computer for a while, and it says, "Failure is not an option." So don't misunderstand me, though. That does not mean I succeeded everything I try. I told you my wife's right there. I'm not going to get away with that. But it's an attitude. I grew up outside of Syracuse, New York, in a trailer park. My parents today live in a mobile home, a home on wheels. Our trailer was 10 feet by 50 feet. That's 500 square feet of living space. I have 4 brothers and sisters. 500 square feet of living space for 7 people in 1 bathroom. I have 3 sisters. I didn't always go indoors. The boys I used to run with in the neighborhood were not focused on success. In fact, everyone I grew up with, probably 50 boys, with the exception of one gentleman who is a pharmacist in Niagara Falls, is either dead or in jail, including my brother, who drank himself to death. I grew up surrounded by failure, but I decided not to participate. So graduates, here you are, and you have overcome so much to be here today. I'm sure there were some disappointments along the way, but you overcame. Congratulations. You see, life's disappointments are either an opportunity for growth or a chance to quit, either a way to adjust or change directions towards a bigger reality, or an opportunity to park the car and stop moving forward. It's hard when you think you have failed. Evil wants you to be disappointed, wants you to become discouraged, wants you to stop moving forward. But failure is not real. Failure is a myth. There's no such thing. Failure is really just fear. And fear is not of God. If you knew you could not fail, if you had no fear, what would you do? What are you afraid of? Fear knocked at the door. Faith answered. No one was home. You see, fear is natural, but your belief has to grow so strong that you can push through it. That's what you did here, so you know how to do this. Do it again. And when something doesn't go just right, so what? It's just a bump in the road. There's no such thing as failure. When something doesn't work just right, celebrate. It's a chance for some free tuition. See, when something doesn't go right, when you do something, you either win or you get to learn something. Would you pay for tuition? I know it's very value-oriented at Roberts Wesleyan, but would you pay for tuition and then not show up to class? I don't mean every class. I know some of you made a couple, but of course, no, that's crazy to pay for something and then not go. So if something goes wrong, learn from the lesson from it and get on with it. What would you do if you couldn't fail? How many of you are already set new goals in your life? I want you to think about some of those goals right now. Now I want you to increase those goals in your mind dramatically. Now, how many of you are already starting to think, how am I going to achieve that? Oh, I can't do that. Stop. You see, how is not your concern. Do not think about how. That's too limiting. If you think about the how before clearly identifying the goal, you will only achieve a little. People in life do not fail to achieve because they set goals that are too big and miss them. They fail to achieve because they set goals that are too small and hit them. How many of you want to be just a little bit successful? How many of you want to be big success? Whatever you define that as. Then don't worry about the how. That's none of your business. God will take care of that. Focus on the goal. Focus on achieving your dreams, telling your story. Did someone in life ever tell you it's not all about you? Mom, Dad, did you ever say that? I want you today to call that person if you can and thank them. They were right. You see, the key to success is not about you. It's about helping others to achieve their goals and dreams. It's been said that at the end of life, the perfect ending is for you to be surrounded by your loved ones, praying with them as you cross over. But what if at the end of life, instead you were surrounded by all your hopes and dreams and all the hopes and dreams of other people that won't be fulfilled because you didn't dare? You see, your success is totally dependent on how many other people you can help achieve their success. You must focus on the future, on a reality that does not yet exist, and focus on finding people who have goals and that set out to help you achieve yours and you achieve theirs. Along the way, you'll find your success, guaranteed. Anyone here a Star Trek fan? I grew up with Star Trek, and I love the thought of traveling to outer space. Then they made a series of movies that were awesome. We got to blow things up, and the Romulans took over. It was awesome. One of the most famous lines from the movies is actually an important success principle. To serve the many, you must first serve the few. See, you must surround yourself with other leaders, both as mentors and as students. Learn to serve others, teach others to serve others, and success is guaranteed. What would you do if you could not fail? So now you have invested valuable time and treasure to develop your talent. So how do you take what you've learned and make it work for you? Here's the secret. Are you ready? When the professor always says you might want to write this down. To protect your value, you must give it away. What? What do you mean I got to give it away? Yes, you must give away all that you have learned and keep learning more so that you have more to give away. Your biggest obstacle to success is the one that hinders someone else. We need others to join us. You cannot achieve great things alone. And sometimes others have bigger dreams than us. Sometimes they grow faster than us. Great, let's help them. Let's help them win, and then we'll win. You see, my daughter Leanne almost has it. It's not over till I win. That's close. It shows the tenacity she will need in life. It shows the willingness to overcome obstacles. It shows the passion and desire to succeed. But she's only 10, and she's not yet learned that it's not all about her. It's not over until we win. It's not over until we all win. You are all winners. Congratulations on your achievement. Don't stop. Set some new goals. Set some outrageous goals that make people laugh. Help others to achieve their goals. Tell them and tell the world your story. What would you do if you couldn't fail? Congratulations and have a wonderful day.